Alright, Annie and I are back, and Annie was so interested in my camera setup. It's a very funny DIY tripod that's really easy to knock over, and I can't believe she didn't knock it over here. She does all the time. Anyway, we're here with the Halter today, and equipment is something that I struggle with because I get really excited. I don't know what it is about buying something for a creature and then putting it on the creature and seeing it on the creature that's very reinforcing to me. Um, so I tend to lump and get excited and move way too fast because I am, for whatever reason, in such a rush to see the equipment on the animal. So I do run into that all the time, and I'm aware of it and working on it, but there's still like an inner 12-year-old in me that just wants to dress up the pony, which is ridiculous and something I work on. So this isn't her first time playing nose touch with the halter. You can also see I don't have the crown piece attached to it, just to make it easier for her to get her snoot where it's supposed to be. And you can see I helped her there, which isn't really necessary, and made her draw her head back. So she can obviously, she knows the halter is there. She knows what we're doing. There's no reason for me to be helping her. And that time she really drew her head back, so I think I took the hint and kind of stopped opposite helping. She might have been lowering her head a little extra to get away from it. She's lowering her head here because that feels really good. It's good at G-spot. And that time she's too wary to even put her nose in. Poor kid. She's very patient with me for such a new learner. She gives it another try and we have a really nice rep. And that was kind of both of us working together to get that piece of leather on her nose. A little bit of me, a little bit of her. Good celebratory scritches. I'm trying to avoid having her do the mutual grooming on me, only because in general we're working on manners and not having her leaning all over my body, but I tend to let her get away with it when I'm like really proud of whatever she just did. I'm not going to kind of get after her for her manners when I'm rewarding her with a good scritch. And here she took a little Annie break to do Annie things. I probably should have ended the session here. We had a nice last rep, but the poor thing turned around to look at me, and I'm too excited about the halter to stop early, of course, so we keep going. And this is a funny angle, but it's actually a pretty interesting view. Her tail will curl to one side when I'm itching a really good spot, and of course will be swishing all over the place if she's irritated or if the flies are bad. So it's very still. So her foot stomping that she just did was probably just being antsy, bored, maybe feeling like she'd rather be playful with me instead. I would assume it's not flies because her tail's not going. Mom's tail is also a good barometer. I think Mom must have had grain here. Here I'm being a little pickier about where she's got her nose, and she figures it out. Yeah, for Mom to be this disinterested in what we were doing, she must have been eating grain. But I've also been trying to lean over her back as I itch her to hopefully get her to do her mutual grooming to herself and not to me. So there's that foot again. That's a nice one.
Nicely done.
She just is very into being very close to me, and it is exactly how she walks with her mom. So I understand the sentiment and I'm flattered, but she's already too big to be leaning on me, unfortunately. Checking to see if my camera's still standing.
Good girl.
And that was a pretty nice one too. Ideally she'll be pushing her nose through the noseband, but when I did this with Sasha, we started with just targeting the inside of the noseband, and that worked really well for us, so hopefully it'll work the same way with Annie. I think it'll get a little easier with food too. And I like to pet her mane. I think she politely tolerates it. It's very soft, so is the rest of her. And she does follow me at the end of the session, which to me says it wasn't too long. She was still interested in interacting with me at the end of it, so. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more progress.